What if the thing you've been dreading your whole life, being judged, was never about punishment at all, and someone just forgot to tell you? There's a guided meditation waiting for you at the end of this that might change how you end every single day. But first, I want to talk about something that runs quietly underneath almost everything we do. There's a particular kind of tiredness that has nothing to do with sleep. It's the tiredness of waiting. Waiting to be found out. Waiting for someone to finally say the thing you've been afraid they were thinking. Waiting for the verdict that's been hanging over your head since you were old enough to understand that people could be disappointed in you. What we're going to do over the next few minutes is take one of the most fear-loaded ideas in human history, the idea of a final judgment, and strip it down to something surprisingly practical. Because the real problem was never judgment itself. The real problem is that somewhere along the way, we confused judgment with punishment. And that confusion has been quietly running the show, feeding the self-criticism, the anxiety, the strange paralysis that shows up when we try to make even small decisions about our own lives. The mind has a natural ability to evaluate what it's created: thoughts, stories, choices, whole identities, and it has the ability to quietly let go of what no longer belongs. That's what this is about. Let me describe a Tuesday evening. It's around 8 p.m. You're standing in the kitchen, or sitting on the edge of the bed, or walking from one room to another for no real reason. And you're replaying an argument from 3 days ago, something your partner said at dinner, a comment that landed wrong. You've rehearsed your rebuttal 17 times by now. You've cast yourself as wronged, as right, as misunderstood, as the calm one, as the one who shouldn't have to explain this. And somewhere in the middle of drafting what you should have said, somewhere between version 14 and version 15, something strange happens. You notice you're completely alone. The room is quiet. Your partner isn't there. The argument isn't happening. It exists entirely inside your head. And it's alive only because you keep feeding it belief. That tiny pause, the one between "I should have said" and "wait, why am I still doing this?" That pause is the whole doorway. That's what this video is about. Because in that pause, you catch yourself in the act. You catch yourself judging. Not someone else, yourself. Your own performance, your own worth, your own case. You've been the prosecutor and the defendant and the jury, and you've been running the trial in the background for days. Here's a way to picture what's actually going on. Imagine your mind as a cluttered storage unit you haven't really opened in years. You know it's there. You pay the rent on it, emotionally, mentally, energetically, every single day. But you haven't gone inside in a long time. Every box in that unit is something you created. A story about yourself, a belief about what happened that one summer, a judgment you made about your father, or your body, or your career, or the way you handled something when you were 23. Every box is a verdict you reached at some point and quietly kept. Now, when most of us hear the phrase "final judgment," we picture a landlord showing up to evict us. We picture being measured against some impossible standard and found lacking. That picture is so deep in the culture that it shapes how we relate to our own minds without us even noticing. But what if it was never that? What if the moment we've been dreading is actually just this? You walking into that storage unit with a flashlight, looking at every box honestly, and deciding what's worth keeping. not as a punishment. As a clarification, most of what's in there, when you actually shine the light on it, you'll realize you never needed in the first place. You were just storing it because no one told you that you were allowed to put it down. Here's the shift. The mind wasn't designed to punish what it has made. It was designed to sort, to evaluate, to look at something honestly and decide, does this belong, or doesn't it? That's not cruelty. That's clarity. It's the same thing a gardener does. It's the same thing you do when you finally clean out a closet and feel that strange lightness afterward. The problem is, we've been told for so long that evaluation equals condemnation that we don't want to look at anything inside ourselves at all. So the boxes pile up. The storage unit gets fuller, and we walk around with this low-grade dread because some part of us knows there's an enormous backlog of unexamined material we're paying to keep alive. And here's what's quietly radical. You are not everything you've made. The stories you've told about yourself aren't you. The judgments you've collected aren't you. The arguments you've rehearsed at 2 a.m. aren't you. They are things you produced. And things you produced can be looked at. And some of them can be kept. And some of them, most of them, honestly, can be set down. You don't have to keep something just because it's yours. So what does this look like on a Tuesday evening? It looks like the moment you catch yourself rehearsing the rebuttal for the 18th time, and instead of continuing, you pause. You don't fight the thought. You don't shame yourself for having it. You just notice, this is a box. This is something my mind made. Do I want to keep paying rent on this one? Most of the time, when you actually ask, the answer is no. It looks like noticing the harsh internal commentary about how you handled the meeting today, and instead of arguing with it or believing it, you ask, is this clarifying anything? Or is it just noise I've kept around because I thought I deserved to hear it? It looks like sitting with an old story about yourself, that you're the one who messes things up, that you're too much, that you're not enough, and seeing it for what it is. Not a fact about you. A box, something you made a long time ago and forgot you were carrying. The pause is the doorway. Every single time. And here's where something relaxes. When you understand that this whole process was never about taking anything good away from you, only about letting you set down the boxes you never wanted to carry in the first place, the exhausting vigilance starts to soften. You stop bracing for a verdict that was never coming. You stop defending a case that no one is actually prosecuting except you. Nothing valuable is being taken. The parts of you that are real, the parts that love, the parts that create, the parts that show up, those aren't on trial. They never were. The only things that fall away are the things that were already weighing more than they were worth. That tiredness I mentioned at the beginning, the tiredness of waiting to be found out, it isn't your real condition. It's just what happens when you've been carrying a storage unit full of old verdicts and calling it your identity. You can set them down. A few at a time. Gently. Without ceremony. And what's left, when you do, is lighter than you remember being. Let's take that into something quiet now. Before we move into the meditation, if this is helping you, you're welcome to like the video and subscribe. It's a simple way to keep practicing together. Let's take a few minutes to let this settle. Find a place where you can be still. A chair, the edge of a bed, the floor. If that's easier, let your body arrange itself in a way that doesn't require effort to hold. Let your eyes close or soften toward the floor. Breathe in, breathe out. Nothing has to happen yet. Notice the weight of your body where it meets what's holding it. Notice that you don't have to do anything to be held. Let the day be where it is. Behind you. Around you, just for now. You don't have to carry it. Bring your attention gently to your chest, to the space between your shoulders. Notice if there's any bracing there, any quiet preparation for something you've been expecting to have to defend. And let that soften just a little. You are not on trial here. You weren't on trial earlier today either. You only thought you were. Imagine, for a moment, a room inside you, a quiet room full of old boxes. You don't have to open them. You don't have to sort them tonight. You only have to know that you're allowed to walk in with a light. That you're allowed to look. That you're allowed to set things down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice how much of what you carry has been carried out of habit, not necessity. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw loosen. Let the small muscles around your eyes soften. There is nothing here to defend. There is nothing here to prove. The parts of you that are real don't need protecting. They are quietly waiting underneath everything else. Rest there for a moment, in what's underneath. Breathe in. Breathe out. If a thought arises, an old argument, a familiar self-criticism, a worry about tomorrow, let it pass through. You don't have to keep it. You don't have to fight it. It's just another box. You can leave it where it is. Feel the quiet that's been there the whole time. Feel how little of you actually needed to be defended. Breathe in. Breathe out, and when you're ready, no rush, let your attention come gently back to the room, to the sounds around you, to the feeling of your hands, to the slow, steady weight of being here. Take one more breath, and open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you for practicing with us today. If you'd like, there's a free digital copy of A Course in Miracles available through the link in the description. You're also welcome to leave a simple comment such as, "I am grateful. Thank you for spending this time here. Whatever you came in carrying tonight, I hope a little of it feels lighter now." Be gentle with yourself this week. You've been carrying more than you needed to, and you're allowed to set some of it down. I'll see you in the next one.